What should the punishment be for Alonso, if any?
I think he should be fined. I think he should be fined because you have to send a message that the quarterbacks are going to be protected at all costs. But I didn't think that the hit was as egregious as Ravens players tried to make it out to be. Was it a little late? Probably so. But I thought that when Flacco slid, I thought he slid a little bit too late. His upper body was still a touch erect, similar to how Tony Romo went down in that preseason game against Seattle a couple of years back. I think before last season, what have you, when he got hurt again. I just look at it as one of those situations where obviously you have an opportunity to get a hit on a quarterback. You're going to take advantage of that at every opportunity. Kiko Alonso obviously was definitely trying to do that. I thought that the hit to the head, obviously you can say that it was a bit excessive, but again, I thought that Flacco slid a little bit late. And because of that, I thought that Kiko was in a position to make the argument that it was somewhat unavoidable. And that's the way I look at it. So you got to send a message that the quarterback is going to be protected at all costs. Therefore, it automatically invokes a fine. But I don't think a suspension is warranted here or anything of that nature. I think you fine them because you're reminding them that you got to err on the side of caution when it comes to protecting the quarterback because they are the faces of this league. You got to do that with every consideration imaginable. That's the approach that should be taken. A fine, but nothing more than that, because I don't think it was as extremely excessive the way the Baltimore Ravens tried to react to it.
There should be no punishment for Kiko Alonso. There should not be a fine. He shouldn't have gotten a flag on the play at all. There should have been nothing at all. Even the way the rule is written is ridiculous. What do you mean? So it's not a foul if it's unintentional because they do it simultaneously, right? Like Flacco slid late and Kiko Alonso had already launched. Unless it makes contact with the head or some other unsportsmanlike. So are you defining contact with the head automatically as unsportsmanlike, even if it's the quarterback's fault for sliding and changing the plane of his, that his head is on? So now it's lower. How would you like the defensive player to tackle the quarterback? With his arms open, these 6'4", 6'5", 230, 40-pound guys running like a running back straight at you. You're supposed to open your arms and tackle them like this so you get your own neck broken? Like, what exactly are you supposed to do? You lower your shoulder. You try to stop them that way. And the fact is, Flacco slid late. And Alonso had launched simultaneously, and not at his head. It was at Flacco's head because Flacco slid late, and then his head wasn't where it used to be. He put his head where Alonso's shoulder wound up being. That's not like, look, I hate to say it, and this is going to sound brutal, but I don't mean it that way. But this is the fact of the matter. The punishment has already been served by Flacco for sliding late. When you play a full contact sport, and the NFL, like football, tackle football is a brutal sport at the highest level. These are huge, strong, fast guys. And you make a mistake in terms of your technique or a decision you've made. You could get hurt, and that's what happened with Flacco. Well, you can create all the rules you want to protect the quarterback, but ultimately the question is, can you protect the quarterback from himself? And if you're thirsty to pick up that extra half yard, you might get hurt.
Well, here's the reality. You're speaking idealistically, not realistically. Realistically speaking, the rule is the rule. You want to do everything that you can to avoid a headshot at all costs. Again, I can understand how Flacco changed the trajectory, and because of that, that's why I said no suspension. But at the same time, knowing that the rules are in place, knowing how fixated the National Football League is in defending or protecting, rather, the quarterbacks, with defensive players literally complaining for the last several years about how this is a man's game. You've got one of the great Baltimore Ravens of all time who's going to go into the Hall of Fame, whose name is Ray Lewis, who religiously campaigned for 2 years about how this is a man's game. We're men. We're out there. This is what comes with it. Why y'all softening up the game? This is what it's supposed to be about. Those kind of things happen. So if you take that into consideration, and it's something that's been co-signed and supported by numerous members of the Baltimore Ravens, I might add, you don't get to change course because you don't like the rules that the rules that you've been complaining about that are in place, suddenly now you want to sit up there and invoke those rules to talk about how your quarterback has been victimized. You can't have it both ways. The rules are in place. We understand that the NFL is fixated on protecting the quarterback. And in the end, what it comes down to is this. this. I don't think that Kiko Alonso was excessive, but could he have at least feigned a more demonstrative way of trying to avoid a hit to the head? One could argue he could. I'm just saying. But the fact that you don't know, and I don't. Hold on.
But let's talk about
that. You don't know. Hold on. The fact that you don't know, and I don't know, but we know what the rule is. That's enough that warrant a fine.